Welcome to Yaya's Kitchen. Today we will be preparing a special dish. This dish was introduced to me by my dad. He taught me how to make this, and ever since I have been in love. So I hope you liked the video and I hope you enjoyed, and I hope and pray that you give this a try. Without further ado, let's get started.
Okay, so here we have, what was this, short rib, beef short rib, and I had them cut it in half. Some pieces are still pretty big, so this is short rib. And then we also have beef shank, center cut. So this one I'm just gonna go ahead and cut it like in half, just so that we can have just about the same size pieces of meat. Alright, so here we have a quarter of an onion, 4 whole cloves, 5 garlic cloves, well, technically 4.5, depending on how big they are. You can use between 4 and 6. I have 1 tablespoon, or 1/2 tablespoon of cumin, half a teaspoon of whole peppers, or you can just count 35 to 40 peppers. It's all up to you.
We're going to start by grinding up all the garlic cloves. Next, we're going to add the 4 whole cloves. Okay, now we're going to add the whole peppers, and we're going to grind until we're done. Almost done, guys. We're gonna grind the cumin, and then we have one more ingredient left. Alright, so now that we're done with these condiments, we're gonna take them out, set them aside, and then start doing the onion. I cut them into smaller pieces so that it can help me with the blending process, because as you can tell, this is an arm workout. We do the onion in batches because it can be too much, and the amount is so much. My mortar is pretty small, so I usually use this for spices, so that's why I have to do mine in batches. But if you have like the bigger mortar, hey, by all means, you can go ahead and do it all at once. And we continue to do this process until we are done with the onion. Now that we are done with the onion, we're going to go ahead and add all the mixture back in the mortar, and we're going to add just a tad bit of water so it could be a little bit diluted, so when we add it to the meat, it's not so clumpy. Alright, so we're just going to mix with the pesto so that all the ingredients combine. Okay, so now I have my gloves on, and we're going to go ahead and add this mixture into the meat, and we're going to mix, kind of like massage it and like get it in there, if you know what I mean. I do this for like about 5 minutes. I really want the flavor to penetrate the meat. That's what's going to give this the flavor. So if you're me and you like cooking and you like good food, trust me when I say this step is crucial. So you want to massage and get it in there. Now we're going to add salt to taste. I added about 2.5 tablespoons of salt. This is really just how salty you like it, or to your preference, so you can add more or less. And this is how it looks like after adding all the condiments, garlic, salt, and onion. Let me tell you, this already smells delicious.
So we're gonna do 16 chiles guajillos, and then 3 chili poblanos. But we're going to devein them.
So here I normally use like a regular produce bag, and I kind of just like split it in half to both sides, and I just lay it down so that it's an easier process to clean everything up. So we're just deveining the chilies, taking out all the seeds. You can leave the seeds in, but I have kids, so I don't like to do my food super spicy. But if you want to skip this step, you are more than welcome to. So the poblano chilies are a little bit on the trickier side to get the seeds out. They tend to clump up, like really stick to themselves when they're doing the drying process. So you can skip this step. It's not really a big deal because it's only 3 chilies, but I will battle with this chili and cut it up into little tiny pieces until I can take everything out. So you can do what I do, or you can just skip the step. And this is what I mean by easy cleanup. Isn't this crazy? 1, 2, 3, and you're done. Pick it up, throw it away.
4 tomatoes, but these are small, so I'm compensating, so that's why I have 5. So we're gonna just like that.
So now we're going to cut up the tomatoes into halves. If you want to leave them bigger sizes, that's fine. I do it because that's just how I was taught. Now we're going to cut up the onion. So you can leave it like, again, in bigger pieces, but I'm just so used to cutting everything smaller because this is the way I was taught. So you can leave it or cut it. Okay, so the next step is to get a deep pot where all of these ingredients are going to be able to combine and simmer for about 3 hours. So here I'm using a 30 quart, I believe, is the size of my pot. And then I'm just going to add some oil and start frying all the ingredients. So the chilies here are only going to cook for, I'm going to say, about 30 seconds, depending on how hot your pot is. So here I have it on medium-high heat. And my chilies were cooking in about like 30 to 45 seconds. You really don't want to keep them there very long because if they burn or if they cook too much, your food will taste bitter. And you don't want that. We're just going to keep repeating these steps until all the chilies are cooked. Now that the chilies are done, we're gonna go ahead and put all the tomatoes in there. And as you can see, my oil is running low, so we're gonna go ahead and add a little bit more at this time. For the tomatoes, we're just going to let them brown on one side. If you're patient and want a more flavorful dish, you can let it brown on all sides. Once they have this goldish brown color, you can go ahead and take them out. And now we take out all the tomatoes and the onions are next. So the onions are just going to cook until they change a little bit of color, so like kind of like a translucent color. Now that the onions have reached a translucent stage, we are going to take them out, and our next step is our final step of this frying process. Alright, so this is the final step of the frying process. So now we are going to sear the pieces of meat. So each piece needs to be seared on all sides. Don't worry, it's not like a big issue if you don't get one side, but it needs to be seared on all sides so that flavor that we put in it will stay with the meat. So I'm going to show you guys the process right now on how to do this, and yeah, this is it. We're almost there.
The meat has been searing for about 3 minutes on each side. It depends on how high your heat is. I mean, here I have it on high because I'm just trying to get this over with. It's a long process, but yeah, I do between 2 to 3 minutes on each side, and really that's all you need. And you just keep doing this until you are done with all the meat. And if you see that the bottom of your pot is dry, you can go ahead and add more oil. So the oil, you just gradually incorporate it as you need it. And we just keep repeating this process until all the meat is seared on all sides. Now that we're down to the last piece of meat, we're going to go ahead and put all the ingredients back into the pot, and we're going to go ahead and add enough water to cover everything in the pot. So here I speeded up the process by boiling the water first in my kettle and then adding it to the pot. So it kind of cuts down about 30 minutes cooking time because it takes a while to boil a big pot of water. While I wait for the next pitcher of hot water, I'm going to go ahead and add some chicken bouillon to this tapado de hoya. Okay, so now we mix the chicken bouillon into the soup and we continue to add water until it covers the top of the meat. Once it starts boiling and you see this brown frothy stuff on top, we're going to go ahead and remove that with a spoon. Once that frothy stuff is gone, we're going to go ahead and cover it and let it boil for 3 hours, minimum 3 hours. We're going to stir occasionally just so that it doesn't stick to the bottom, and we're going to be checking the meat in 3 hours. Hopefully it's done. 3 hours later, this is how the tapado de hoya looks like, and now we are going to test the meat. Oh, yay! Now that it's done, we can either serve it by itself with like juice, kind of like a soup, or we can serve it with some rice, which that's my favorite. I like it with rice. That's how I serve it, but you can definitely do whatever you want. You can add beans, you can add rice. It's delicious. Trust me, you need to try this. I hope you enjoy this recipe as much as I do. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you're not subscribed yet. Make sure to tag me on Facebook and Instagram if you make this recipe. Take care and may God bless you in these hard times. I'll see you in the next video.